What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Evening Alpha. I'm your host, Todd Wanish, 26-year veteran of the comic and animation field. And now, because I've been in Web3 for more than a month, OG as well. Huh? OGs represent, right?
Yes.
Right? 36 days or something. Yeah, that's good. Anyway, guys, we are excited. So if this is your first time joining us, our show is a little different. We do coffee talks. We're here to talk to the entrepreneurs and the founders behind your favorite Web3 projects, these up and coming projects, top of the line projects, teams that are really pushing boundaries, creating amazing things. And what we do is actually get to know the people behind the product, because everybody talks about do your own research. But we all know that do your own research usually means about 15 seconds of going to their website, seeing that the roadmap and tries to include like a comic book and a Netflix deal, and then you're like, sounds good to me, right? So we actually try to get beyond that to actually really get to know the founders, where they came from, what this is about, what their plans are, and who they are as people. And so with that said, I am absolutely excited to introduce a project. These guys are creating something really special. I cannot wait to learn more about it. We've got Windd and Brulo from 2112. What's up, guys?
Hey,
Hello.
how are you doing?
Welcome.
Very, very happy to be here.
Oh yeah. So first question. Like, what the heck is 2112?
Oh no, it's too long to say, so I will let Bruno say it.
Yeah, I let's split that in two parts, and one we can leave it to see if it appears during the conversation, because we are actually in this process of like constantly rethinking or redefining how we present ourselves to the world. It's something that we learn from our mint and pre-mint phase. That sometimes less is more. So I'm always thinking on what's the less way to tell more about what we are. And I think I'm kind of getting it after almost a year of working.
Yeah, we are trying to come up with a short term, of what is the project about.
Fair enough.
But it's a lot of things. Yeah.
But yeah, basically 2112 is our envision of the universe in 100 years, of a cyberpunk sci-fi universe in 100 years. It's of course based and inspired by all the video games, books, comic books, movies that we saw 1,000 times and we love. And what we basically are trying to build is our own narrative universe that takes from all of that and allows us to tell our stories. Then we can go deeper and talk about the game, the ecosystem, the community, and all the influences that comes to play here. But basically what we are building is an IP. But what 2112 is our vision of this universe in 100 years from now, in the year 2112.
That's awesome. I'll tell you, like, as someone who has their own NFT project, one of the things that instantly pulled me to you guys, right? And I was like, we got to talk to these guys. Was you? So. And I'm preaching to the choir, but you guys know this. Most projects that pre-launch, even post-launch, there's not a lot there, right? There's a mint page, a sales page that talks about the project, and then there's like a roadmap that we all know is like kind of probably never going to happen. And then they go through the mint, and all of the buyers, the customers, the fans, the community. They get their NFT, and then the project goes into build mode and they try to deliver on the project. What really attracted me to you guys, well, there were two things. One, that it was while I know you guys are still developing stuff, it was fully thought out, fully developed, meaning that the website has a tone, the graphics are strong. everything support. The artwork is to die for. Like, it's really like, it's everything. I can tell everything was thoroughly thought out, and all the way to having like video and demos of gameplay. Like, you guys already have the game, either, I don't know if it's live yet, but it's like, it's already there. And so I was instantly attracted to that, because that takes it takes a tremendous amount of work. And it also, I think, takes a lot of guts in Web3 to not launch until you feel like you've built enough, because we live in a time where the mindset of a lot of people is, I got the landing page up, I generated some PFPs in 20 minutes, we're ready to go, right? And so I'm curious as to, like, founder to founder, like, I'm really curious as to what made you guys decide to say, hey, we're not going to just start with a landing page and maybe some PFPs. We're actually going to present all of this as a package, then go for the launch. Like, why go that route?
Yeah, I think it was like some snowball effect, and it's something that it actually keep happening to the entire team, that once we start working on an idea, it's like hard for us to like go into the MVP mode and mentality, because we think that we always have something more to add, some rough edge to keep polishing. And just so you have an idea, I came out to Windd with the initial idea for the project on August of last year, and in our first talks, we were like fantasizing on launching on the 21st of December. That for us, that we are from South America, the dates are read the day first and month later. So it was literally launching on 21/12. We ended up launching, I think, in mid-February or something like that. I mean, as the project started to progress, the first idea was to do some PFPs. And I think there wasn't even a game in the first idea. The idea was to build something that allows us to tell these cyberpunk stories, to develop this universe. And as we move forward, we started to add more people to the team. We understood all the work that is needed to create some base for a solid universe, let's say. So by the time we launched, we already had very well defined all the factions that our characters in the universe are part of, all these main mega corporations that are the main antagonists, all their CEOs, like who's behind each of these mega corporations, their backstories, their motivations, their desires. All of that was already done by the moment that we launched. But yeah, we took like, I don't know, 6-8 months in doing all that, plus the collection that it's super polished in regards to art. So I don't know, Wayne, if you
Yeah, I think that the crazy part for us was that we started very early, right? Like we created the project when there was this huge bull run, NFT bull run, which was around September of last year, and the meta was like entirely PFPs, right? There wasn't even on-chain games yet, right?
the
Not in
concept of utility.
the concept of utility was very like really what started all that movement was Anonymize, which is I'm doing a big shout out to Anonymize because they are really the OG of what on-chain art and on-chain staking mechanics mixed with with NFTs. So when they did when they launched that, then this entire meta of utility came, right? And we were thinking about doing PFPs, but not as a cash grab, right? We wanted to do PFPs that were really standing out on their style, right? Because we wanted to do this like greedy cyberpunk style that it's the inspiration of our entire 2112 universe. So we started doing the PFPs, and then that happened, and then we started thinking we could do more, right? So then we started thinking about a game. Let's do a game alongside with the PFPs. So we started thinking about the game. At first, this was going to be only, like a staking, like a staking mechanics game, like this kind of DeFi in which I will put my runner, I will stake it to be hacking this, and then I'm going to receive this. And then we thought, why don't we actually build a game, a real game? Because we were getting tired as well of seeing all these games, that so-called games that are not games at all, right? Because gamifying tokenomics, it's not a game in itself. I don't think it is, because there are no, interesting decisions to make. There is only one mathematical A or B choice that you do. Right. So then we shifted our focus, like we continued with the PFPs, we delivered the PFPs, but we said, let's make a game with these PFPs. And now we are on this huge mess with this, that is, actually creating a game that is interesting. And we have launched our game, but this game we launch, it's just a glimpse of what we really want to do. It's just the MVP, really the MVP. Something you can play, have some fun, but it's nothing compared to what we are actually designing now.
That's awesome. Like, so one of the challenges I think of designing a game is that you're essentially designing a sandbox, right? And with any sandbox, there are boundaries, and this is just normal development of any project. When you come up with an idea for a project, it's this huge thing, and it could be anything. And then every single decision you make, you're actually scoping down and scoping down and scoping down, because every decision you make moves up against something you can no longer do, right? Exactly. So every decision you make means there is now a decision you cannot make. There's now a path you cannot take, or if you had to go down a path, we call that pivoting, right? Like you'd have to actually shift. And it's like moving a ship. It's very difficult. And so when you said, okay, cool, we're gonna design a game, like how did you there are so many mechanics and tactics and strategies and games that there's so many tools in making a game that you can use. Like how did you decide? Like, did you look at another game and say, oh, well, we like pieces of this game mixed with that game, or did you just kind of like bring it up and pull it together out of the blue?
Yeah, can I?
Yeah, of course.
Go a little bit about this, because it also goes back to the genesis of the project, because even before this idea of this staking or DeFi, gamified DeFi that turned out to be the meta at that point, we had in mind this first idea of a game. The first idea of all was to do a single player game that served us to tell stories. We wanted to do a simple game in its mechanics, but that enables us to create stories in this universe. Then it derailed and snowballed into what we are going to probably be telling the audience in a little bit of what we plan this game to.
Yeah, we have like some big, big. We are going to say something now that we haven't seen say before. Yeah.
But the thing is that now at this point that we are designing both the game that you can play right now plus the new phase of the game, the thing is that we are like long time board game and tabletop game players, aside from being video game players, but we have a lot of input from actually playing and trying tons of tabletop games, learning about a lot of mechanics and different ways of making resources work and those kind of things. We don't have like, let's say, official education on game design. We read our books, we do our research, but basically we played a lot of games aside from video games. And I think those kind of games, tabletop games, card games, board games, are the ones that open, it's like crack your mind a little bit, and you start seeing pretty much everything with other eyes. For example, if I was to design a game now, I will start taking things from that realm, let's say the world of more board games, card games, and we have one specific very heavy influence in our project that is a card game that is called Android Netrunner, that it's discontinued right now. But it's basically the card game in which one player is the hacker, the other player is the corporation. And I never enjoyed a game of any kind more than how I enjoyed that one. I mean, it manages at some point to make you feel like you are actually hacking someone, and you are using pieces of paper in a table. I mean,
it's so immersive.
What's the name of that game?
It's called Android Netrunner, and I will share the link later.
Oh, for sure. Okay,
it's incredible.
That sounds awesome.
And actually, what we are trying to do for some time now is like trying to get the essence of how that game makes us feel. Yeah. And try to infuse that in whatever we do. That's why we are trying to do everything as immersive as possible. Yeah. Every story that we make, every piece of art that we release, all the things that we are building with the game. The idea is that everything needs to immerse you in this universe. And when you come and do something that has to do with 2112, your mindset is set like, okay, I'm in this universe. It's like you are reading or watching something about Star Wars, you are in Star Wars mood, let's say. Right. So we want to bring that kind of feel.
Yeah, that's really cool. I one of the other things that I noticed that I thought was really interesting about 2112 is that you guys made another decision that I think is really difficult. Maybe it wasn't for you guys doing this, but because we at Adult Fantasy, we made the same choice, which is that, correct me if I'm wrong, but you actually have the NFTs are non-generative art, but they're generative in that you're applying like an AI algorithm to it to kind of create uniqueness on each NFT, right? I find that to be fascinating because we did something similar where we have 25 characters, and then we developed proprietary technology that created generative damage across each NFT so that every single NFT was like a unique playing card, just in different conditions of quality, right? So my card might be beat up and you might have a mint condition card, and therefore my card might be worth a different, be valued as a collectible in a different way than yours. So I find that interesting. So I'm wondering why go that route? Because especially coming from last year, where every project is 10,000 PFP, where every single NFT is a shuffled profile image, right? Why make this choice?
Well, I think, we are generative in a sense that our avatars, have traits that are randomized, right? And that is one of the things that make them different. Mm-hmm. But the other thing that makes our avatars different, I I suppose this is what you are referring to, is that we have different bases, right? So it's not like the same posture and you have 10K of that and it has a hat or it doesn't have a hat, So for us, it was completely about role playing, right? It was completely about the actual identity of the narrative. So it was, again, putting as a priority the immersion, right, and the actual cohesion, right, of the world that we are creating. So if we want to make, like the crypto runners, the special thing they have is that they have factions, right? So if these factions we want these factions to be something more than only a name, we really need them to be different and have a different style, right? So now you already need different bases, right? Because if not, then you would need to design like very specific traits that would identify a faction, and that it's even harder, I think, to do, and you're going to end up with probably a messed up collection. So if now you have the need of bases because you are doing factions that have their own identity aesthetically, right? Now, why not doing more than one base, right? So you can have a faction, and that faction can have a person that looks more like a woman, a person that looks more like a man. So now you have the current collection we have that it's 15 different bases. So it feels more real, right? If you get one of those avatars, it's not only your PFP, right? The idea is that you can really identify with this avatar and feel that that is your representation in the 2112 universe. That for us is very important because we are like one of the main things about our project is that it's role playing. Right? We want you to immerse yourself and feel that you are inside this fictional world in which everything is shitty because it's the future, but also everything is cool also because it's the future, right? So for us, it was 100% that. It was like the search that we were looking for was something that it's cohesive and narrative and makes sense, right? So for us, it's more that than anything else. So we are going to put that first, always, right?
Right on. Yeah.
Even if it's 6 months of work, because it was around 6 months of work.
Tell me about it. Yeah. No, I really respect the decision because it shows, and it's not, I don't know, it seems like I think from the outside it could seem like an easy choice, right? But I think when you look at Web3 overall and you see all of the projects that look so similar, right? Like we all know, like when Bored Ape launched last year, the rest of the year were different animal PFPs. Like, you know what I mean? And some of it is a cash grab for sure, right? We all know some of it is a rug, some of it like it's all kinds, all types. But a lot of it, I think, were very good teams who felt the pressure of why go against something that is working. This is working. Why take a chance on doing something else? Let's just do what works, and we can do plus this, right? Hey, we'll do the funny monkey picture that's kind of a derivative of Bored Ape, but then we'll add staking, or we'll add this, or we'll add that. And you saw all these kind of projects, penguins and dolphins and gerbils and you name it. Like, it's still going on. Like, there's still character, like these there's still derivatives. That's how strong it was. And so I think it's such an interesting thing when you see a project that says, nah, that's okay. We're over here. We're doing our own thing. And I'm always fascinated by that because I know that that's not an easy decision. That's a conscious decision. And there is always, at least on my side, I feel like there's always that pressure to almost feel like, are we making the right decision by not making, cyberpunk whales?
Right.
Yeah, actually, that's a discussion or a conversation that the team constantly have, because, for example, we started with an idea of a single player game inside this universe, and the meta itself, with the appearance of either orgs, for example, turned into this fully on-chain game, whatever. And at some point, we had to decide, okay, which kind of game, from the technical standpoint, we want to make. And actually, what we end up deciding with our developers is that the most clever thing to do for the game that we wanted to build is to actually do a hybrid that stores part of the information on chain, but the actual game engine, the back end of our game, is custom made by our developers, because we needed that freedom that a fully on-chain game cannot bring.
Yeah.
And you lose some selling points in one side, but I feel a lot more proud saying that we are developing our actual game engine to run this game. And that happens with a lot of things, with the art, with a lot of decisions, even marketing decisions. It's like, okay, all the projects are, I don't know, paying influencers for doing this or that. And it's like, I mean, one thing that I try to tell the team always is that we are in a space that is specifically about like experimenting and innovating. I mean, we are not building this for Steam. Like a game for Xbox and in the old industry, let's say. If we are in a space that allows for experimentation and innovation, because that's why we are here. Actually, we are not here to receive the same as we always receive. We need to push to that. Of course, there are a lot of projects around us that are doing great, and you feel tempted to try to replicate that. That formula.
Yeah, but you have to find like a middle point, right? Like you follow certain trends that work for NFTs, but also we are not afraid of innovating, because we feel that innovation with quality, that it's our main like motto, right? Like if we innovate but we do it with quality, we trust that we are going to have our moment, right? Because this happens. Many projects that innovated in the history of technology, they end up winning, because if it is of quality, investors come, clients come. So it's a matter of keep building, and be truthful to the product you are doing, if you trust that you are doing something special, right? And I think we are doing that. So
I think that it really goes to the idea of long-term thinking, because
absolutely,
because we're so new as a market. This is a brand new medium, right? We're talking a brand new medium. It's like if painting was invented and we're in year 3 of painting in the history of like this is like it's just a baby, and there is not enough history written yet for us to tell what is a true destination and what is a fad. And one of the things that I see, and to your point, and yours too, Brulo, like it's so easy and so tempting to, on your marketing material, say the buzzwords: tokenomic, staking, DeFi, oh look, we're you just pull stuff from the top DeFi staking games, and you're gonna do this, and you can get coin and this and that, like bringing all that stuff in. And there's certainly a hotness of the moment on those keywords, right? But there is no history that says that has a lifespan beyond a year, 6 months. Like they're
even less on NFTs, because that's the thing, that's the important thing to also differentiate about NFT projects, is that there is one side of NFTs that it's entirely degen, right? It's like degening, and that's okay. I mean, it's something that it's there, and I even traded as a degen for a long time before being full hands-on on 2112. So there is one part that is that, right? It's like this gold rush in which you want to, get something that pumps really hard and then sell it. But it's all, so to speak, it's a little bit Ponzi-nomics, because it's all about a pump and dump, right?
Yep.
Our project, it's entirely outside of that, because it's about building long-term and building something that has value, even outside having value for you as an investor.
Right.
It has value because it's fun, it's entertaining, which is why, I don't know, why now this new Diablo game, why is people paying in Diablo for the actual equipment? Not because they are going to get any returns, because they are just hooked with that game, and that helps them escape their real life, right, and lives a kind of fantasy for some time, and that's cool, and we all want that. So when you see all those big projects, you understand where we should go as NFT entrepreneurs, right? I think we should go to that point, to the point that Web 2 is, like why Fortnite, why everyone is buying skins on Fortnite. It's because they enjoy it, right? So that is what we are trying to achieve, and what we will achieve if we continue building with quality, right?
It's adding that layer of ownership, of the so-called true ownership. Like this is already happening in Web 2. The thing is that you are purchasing things that are not even yours or are not composable. Let's say this thing that we have in Web 3 is that if we decide to partnership with another project in 2 years, we may do some super crazy clash of things with our NFTs, and they are immediately compatible one with the other. And, I mean, once again, experimenting and innovating.
A lot of things to discover. Yeah.
But the other thing that you are mentioning, that is this thing of like the long-term roadmaps, or the long run, or building for the long run. There's a reality that is the NFT and the crypto market. We all know how volatile it is. We are living it right now, and we lived this last year and the year before. And I was in Bitcoin, like, I don't know, 8 years ago or something like that, when I finishing my career. And then I left the crypto world for a lot of years, and Wynn brought me back with NFTs last year.
Yeah, but he didn't save any Bitcoins before you ask.
Yeah, I didn't keep none of that. I mean, I was a couple of months ago, I was checking all the transactions in Dogecoin that I had.
Oh, yeah.
And I was buying them by the million, by 10 million.
Just for the million.
Okay,
I have a similar story. Yeah.
And and they are gone.
Yeah. Go ahead.
But what I'm trying to say is, like, we all know how volatile it is and the cycles and whatever. So the actual question that we as founders or teams, projects, and even people buying into those projects is, will this project be here in 1, 2, 3, 5 years, 6 years, 5 or 6 years? It's complicated even for us to reply to that, but we want to plan for that. I mean, our initial idea was not like, okay, let's do this game and be around for a couple of years, and then, okay, this was my experiment, as Sagamon would say. The idea is that if we manage to make this viable for the, I wouldn't say infinite term, but for the real long term, in a couple of years, I guess, well, I wouldn't say percentages, but most of the projects that are around right now won't be here in 1 year or 2 or 3, and others will born and then will die in less than that. It's like opening a restaurant. I mean, that statistically, most of the projects cannot stand the pass of time. So we get the necessary professionals, and I feel that myself and the team that we put together has the skills to run this project as a company that can withstand the pass of time. Time will tell, but we understand that the main goal right now is like surviving these waves, because we are in an industry that is so new, as you say, and we don't know what will happen in 2 years. We don't know if the merge is going to
and adapt,
be okay.
Right? Absolutely, yeah.
So,
we need to adapt, because maybe we need to then do a hybrid, and go a little bit to Web 2 as well, because that might make sense as well in the future. So yeah, there is a lot coming, but the thing is try to keep it rolling, and as long as there is product fund, we are investing all that money to keep building.
Yeah,
it's what we had to do.
Yeah. We have the same kind of feeling. Like, it was I've been doing animation and comics and launching products and toys and apparel. I've been doing that for over 20 years. Animation, like you name it. And so, coming in and launching a product, I think, and this is something that I think you guys have as well, where you're not coming in from scratch, right? It's not like you've never done anything before, and this is your very first thing you've ever done, right? And I think that's apparent when you look at the website and you see the product and you see what you guys are putting out, right? So for our team, like we had done all of this before in different ways, right? And in different areas in the past, right? And so it was really Web3 where we saw for the first time all of that skill able to come together in one way, right? But it's not. But it wasn't. It was just the next thing. It wasn't the very first thing we had ever done. So it was very easy for me as someone who's doxed, as someone who's out there, like it was easy for me to say, yeah, this is the rest of my career, like period, because I've already been doing it for over 20 plus years and I'm not stopping that. And that has morphed into this. So as long as I continue to do what I've been doing, right? Then why stop, right? Like as long as I'm healthy and I'm alive and like everything is good, like there's no stopping. So because I love what I do and I've been doing it every day for 2.5 decades. So and I think when you have like you guys, an experienced team that comes in and it's obvious you know what you're doing, right? Doesn't mean there aren't challenges, doesn't mean that every team makes mistakes. Every team is going to have, we're all human beings and we're all trying to make 100% right decisions, and that's not possible. But I also think it's that experienced team that knows that going in, like can kind of prepare in advance, like, okay, well, we always want to go for the best and we always want to try to make the best decision. But if we can't make the best decision, or if we put something out there and our audience is like, yo, dumbass, you made a mistake. Like you have the intelligence and the history and the skill to adjust, right? And so I don't even have to ask. Like I know you guys just by talking to you and looking at the work. I know that when you guys are in your stand-up meetings, you're saying, okay, well, we're going to go in this direction. Should we go down path A or should we go down path B? And the team talks about it and you decide you're going to go down path A. Cool. Just in case path A doesn't work, well, do we go to path B or is there a C? Like you're always kind of planning to make sure, and to your point, Win, that the ship continues, right? As long as you don't make a critical error, you know, and set fire to the, you know, office or something, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, but it's exactly that, and I think it's something that I don't see much people in the space actually realizing that doing your own project, but also like investing or jumping into a project. It's basically this. It's learning how to navigate the waters of industry that it's super new. It's like I think you were telling me the other day that you were like laughing because you were just checking on YouTube like old talk shows in which
Oh yes, I
they
love to see
invited
them. Yeah.
Bill Gates when computers
Yeah.
were just
Oh, yeah.
starting. It's
Yeah,
like,
and it's like a late night show. Yeah, and they invite him, and it's like him or whatever, you know. But he's like, "Oh yeah, and what is the internet?" And they mock him, right? Like,
yeah.
what is this shit? And then now everyone is using it, right? So
Yeah, for
it's
sure.
crazy to see that.
and now we are in that exact same position. It's like, oh yeah, crypto is that thing that
it's all scammers, right?
it's all
It's all
scammers.
it's all gambling, you know, and it's not all gambling. There is a lot of gambling, and that's not good sometimes.
And there's
But,
a lot of scammers.
And there's a lot of scamming as well.
Yeah, well,
And
sure.
rug pulls. But some people want to use the technology for building, and that is one example.
Yeah, and
Ours
someone
or
in 10
yours too.
years, someone will watch this video and say like, oh yeah, remember these guys, people were laughing at these guys because they were doing NFTs. I mean, or anyone creating content about NFTs is like, yeah, they threw shade on them, they laughed.
They didn't they didn't mint out fast. And look now.
Right. Yeah. Oh no.
They will be saying that. Yeah.
They didn't mint out fast. Yeah, but the thing is that do they have plans to try to be around for more than 6 months or 1 year? That's basically the thing.
Yeah. Really quick, I'm going to go to chat. We're going to just check in, see how everybody's doing this evening. Willie D, what's up? How you doing? Welcome. He says LFG right back, man. How are you? Bad Kitty, what's up? Hi, how you doing? Spirit Quest, what's up? Voice of Ket is here. Welcome.
Hey. Yeah, one of our
welcome. Yeah,
big
supporters. Yeah.
2112, what's up? He says, this way up travel. Yo, what's up, man? Welcome.
We have our hardcore fans around. Yeah.
McCarran, what's up? Welcome to the show. Oh, let's see what you got. We got Jason Underwood, Chappie reporting for duty. Welcome. Absolutely. Everyone's showing up. That's great. I love it.
Yeah.
You know, he says, AKA Jason Agogo. That's right.
Here they all have different names, right?
That's right. Everyone's popping up
on our YouTube accounts.
Right. Everyone has like 19 different names now. Yeah. This way up says, I love these backstories. Absolutely. Yeah. This is great. Me too. This way of travel for sure. Jason Underwood says Netrunner. Yep. And Polkerpan, what's up? He says just finished a couple of runs.
Nice.
Just playing
awesome. Nice. Bad Kitty says that this is the best hat ever.
This is
it's a running gag on 2112. Yeah.
Yeah. For the ones involved in the project, they already know. But for everyone else,
what's the story?
One of the most rare traits in our collection is actually the penguin hat. I think there are like 6 in the entire collection, and I think 3 have been minted so far. So you can go to OpenSea and see the only ones that are around with this.
There is only one faction that has it.
And they are only from one faction, and I think one base. So it's like super special. And we were joking with Penguin since the beginning of the project. And actually, one thing that is super interesting is that we try to do everything in the project to make sense or to have some immersion factor in our universe. And for example, we play a lot with the penguins, penguin this, penguin that, cyber penguin, whatever, because actually in our universe, in 2112, wild animals are basically, most of them are extinct. There were a series of calamities in the world, and that, yeah, basically most of the animals went extinct. So having a penguin hat is like kind of reminding that, okay, yeah, penguins, these cute things that used to exist 50 years ago, but
Right.
we don't have those anymore around. And
Kind of
people
like
ask when penguins.
kind of like the snakes in Blade Runner, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's this thing. We are still, let's say, modeling as we release stories and that, like which species went totally extinct, which ones still exist and are in danger, let's say. But the idea is that it's a world that, regarding nature, it went to, well, probably where are we going to go in 100 years if we keep doing things
Right.
as we do in general?
Yeah,
So
that's
you're
another
Go ahead.
interesting thing. I would say just a small thing, but another interesting thing about the penguin is that it's something that the source was our team, but then the community just fed up this joke, right? A lot. So it's another example that of how the community is also shaping the path that we take, not only on narratives but also on what we develop. Like we are constantly trying to hear what the community wants, and what are they interested into exploring in the project. So that is another part that is great, and that it's about Web3, right? Too.
Mm.
It's like you are part of the process too, of the
Yeah,
development process.
100%.
Yeah, we interact like daily, literally daily, with people in the server, and sometimes people appears that they were not around much, but from time to time they appear, and maybe they are concerned about, I don't know, floor price or roadmap, or what are we doing with this or that, because they haven't been reading the announcement or whatever. And we are there to literally engage with them, talk, reply to their concerns. And I was thinking the other day while I was talking with some concerned people, that they raise their concerns and we talk about that. It's like, imagine going to, I don't know, put any other like huge project. Like I remember we launched the same day as Pixelmon. Imagine going to Pixelmon server to ask the founder what is he doing with $70 million,
Oh, dude.
and not receiving any.
Imagine what we would be doing with all that money.
I know,
And
I know.
we will be releasing the new Cyberpunk 2077, and it would be better than the
Yeah,
CD
we will
Projekt
be
one.
buying CD Projekt Red, but and I was thinking, like, imagine going to one of those like super high projects, whatever, that maybe they are not delivering on their roadmap, and trying to ask a founder or a team member or even a mod what is happening.
Yeah.
In our case, you can come and talk with us like any day. On
I
the
think that's
weekends,
so
we
important.
are a little on off, but during weekdays, we are like 24/7, because we are all over the world. Also, we too have like 5 hours of difference, and we have people in the team from China to Buenos Aires, so
Wow.
covering everything in between. So you always have a team member around to talk if you need, and we take the time to talk with whoever wants to talk. So I think we are making something different there, and well, the people that is around, I think they notice that.
How big is the team?
We have thing is that we are adding people like every
Yeah,
2
we
or
lost
3
the
weeks.
count by now. But
Good,
I think
good. That's good news. I
Yeah,
like that.
between 17 and 20, right?
Yeah, no, I think
Yeah.
we are around 15 right now, if you count a couple that are more or less as consultants. But for example, with some of them, we are working a lot more right now, and then at some point they have like less work, but like full-time dedicated, more than 12 people right now.
Excellent.
Yeah, we have like 4 artists, 2 writers, with 2 founders, 3 developers, What else? Well, we have Dave that is partially game designing, partially tokenomics design. So we are a lot. Two people in marketing collabs and community fostering, let's say. So we that's another thing that snowballed. Like we started like, okay, let's find an artist and a dev and put this together. And yeah, it's been like 8-9 months, almost a year, and 15 people after. Here we are.
That's amazing. That's amazing. We got
crazy.
This Way Up Travel says, I'm a massive fan of 2112. Got about 100 of the NFTs.
Wow.
The game now is kind of fun, but it's also just the beginning. 100 out of you got a whale in your audience right there. But
yeah,
that's awesome. Congrats, man. This Way Up, that's badass. That's an amazing way to support like a really good team. Like kudos.
We have so many OGs like him that are supporting us like from the very beginning, and it's for us really it's all about the community and these people in particular also, because they really are believing in us and we can't let down, you know.
Yeah, it makes you work hard, doesn't it?
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
There's also something that is very true, that is that all these people that daily participate and provide feedback and give their opinions they are actually coming up with a lot of good ideas that I mean, we are the first ones to recognize like, oh, this is a good idea. We can implement that. We're not going to ignore that just because we want you to feel that we have everything planned from the beginning. We have everything that is essential and important for this to work already planned, but there are a lot of details and a lot of feedback that you can only get from interacting with your community, with your players, with your supporters. That's also why we released an MVP game that it's super bare bones compared to what we are actually building, because we wanted quick feedback from the people to see how they feel about what we are doing. And all these supporters are actually people that talk to us every day and propose ideas. We have a specific channel in which holders can just throw ideas that they want to see implemented, and we take note of everything.
And some end up going into the actual narrative of the universe. We end up putting them as characters because it's they are so important, right?
I love it. I love it. It's so fun to have you have this generative project with NFTs and what Web3 brings, and then you also bring in like generative storytelling, which is just there's so many things that have never been done and so many new it's like clay. It's just so much cool stuff to kind of play with.
Yeah, exactly. We're one of the things we are playing around right now, but it's lower in the priorities, let's say, but it's something that we are playing around because we want to go for that. Is like we want to allow the community to create the backstories of their characters, but in some kind of gamified, generative way. It's not like you just simply write whatever you want and it's okay. We want you to give you some guidelines and make it kind of a game also, but at the end what you end up having is a story, a backstory of your character that is unique to you. And we are playing around with ideas of how to implement that, and it's going to be more for the future because we are focused on the game 100% now, but it's something that it's there. And when you said like generative stories, it goes in that direction.
Yeah, it's all clay, as you said, all clay.
This Way Up followed up. He said, "Wish I could post a cool NFT with that NFT." Says, Spirit Quest Productions. Hey guys, love hearing the journeys. It takes creative people with experience to develop new technologies and succeed. 100%, 100%. And I think that's one of the big do your own research cues. I think that if I had anything that I could just put out into the world for especially for new people who come in and maybe they're caught up in the excitement of things, and maybe NFTs, maybe this is the first thing they've even ever collected, right? If there's one thing that I would love to suggest to impart, it's that it's looking at the team and looking at what the team has either produced in the past or is producing now, right? Because everyone talks about team and, oh, it's all about the team, but then they still go buy the hot thing with no roadmap, no website, no Discord. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and it's just people still get caught up in the FOMO, and not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just that you should know what you should at least have a guideline for yourself and say, okay, well, this is gambling, and
Exactly.
I'm okay with that, right? And this is actually a team that is producing, and if I choose to support the team, I'm doing so with the assumption that I'm going to support them long term, because the gambling projects can get you a return very quickly, but you can also lose your hat very quickly. Right?
Absolutely.
The projects that are
you described it perfectly.
100%. The projects that are in the storytelling universe or the Web3 where they're building worlds, this is not a flip, right? You're when you build a project like this, when you put something out like 2112 and you have the art and you have the game and you're kind of building this universe, you are putting a signal out to the market that says this is not a flip. It's just not. That is not something that a flipper is going to be attracted to, because they want the payoff immediately. And you're saying, well, we have a roadmap of a few years, right? Like it's actually our milestones are much bigger, right? And so it attracts a different audience. And I think if there was one thing that I could really point to new people coming in is to look for those teams. Like, are you going to make $1 million overnight? Probably not. But those are the projects that are going to be there and pay dividends in the long term, or at least understand what you're going into. Do you know what I mean? I see so many people that just put money into some FOMO stuff.
And they are the best opportunity. I mean, I'm not saying this because it's my project, but there are other projects as well that they are a great opportunity in this sense, because they are teams, good teams that are building, that you can see that they are building long term. And now you are on a crypto winter, right?
Yeah.
In which it's so much cheaper to get into. So the opportunity now is double, because it's cheaper and it's long term, right? So you can just put a little bit of money there, forget about it, or be on the community, and you might have a surprise in 1 year or 2 years, right?
I also think that at times like this crypto winter bear market, I think it's a wonderful time this is the projects that are here now and that are building long term, that are choosing to build long term within a bear market or a winter phase, to me imbues so much trust, right? Because when the money is good, when you're in a bull market, everybody floods in. It's easy to make money. People bounce in and bounce out. But if you're developing now when the markets are low and everybody is hurting, and you're just grinding and putting your head down and building and working, that is not, in my opinion, and it's never 100%. You know, again, do your own research, not financial advisor. But to me, that is a candidate that has so much trust, because those projects, at least those are not projects that usually rug. Do you know what I mean? Like if you're in a bear market and you're sweating your ass off and you're building and you're just grinding it out and just focused, that's not a project that rugs. Do you know what I mean? Doesn't mean it's going to succeed.
You would have already rugged, right?
It's not a scam. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
if you're here in the worst time and then you're still here in the best time, well, it's a project. It's a legitimate team with a legitimate thing, right? It's these projects that come up in the bull market and they make a ton of money and they're gone, right? You also don't see a lot of the scam. Have you also noticed we don't see as many scams right now going on? Have you noticed that? Like, why is that? It was because no one has any money right now. You know, like there are, I mean, maybe it's just my Twitter feed. I don't know. And I'm not saying there aren't any scams out there. I'm just saying that at the height of the bull run, there were multiple scams every day being reported everywhere.
Yeah.
And right now you don't see it as much. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but I'm saying like it's a different market. And so now is the time for builders to build. You know, this is when everything is quiet, this is the time you build so that when that next wave comes, you're already there. You know, because when it's when that wave rises, that's when everybody starts jumping in, right? Like we were part of that wave last year, right? Like that wave started rising, and I know you guys, us, pretty much everybody that launched last year was like, oh shit, we got to do this now. Right? Like, oh, this wave is rising. We got to jump in now. And then we kind of peaks and it kind of comes down. And now we're here. And then when that tide, that wave comes up again, it'll be the next generation's turn to kind of come in, but we'll still be there. The projects that are still around will really reap the rewards for being long-term in the space, right?
Yeah.
In fact, that happened to us, right? We minted our crypto runners at the when the slope was going down already. We didn't catch it on the highest.
In December it was like, I don't know, 4.5.
Yeah, it was crazy. And then the crypto runners were around February, right? That we were already going down. So yeah.
But I think again, that just shows that it's a legit project, and the trust in the team is huge. You know what I mean? I think it's actually a benefit in a different way. Certainly, you're like, oh my God, why couldn't we have just launched September? Right? But at the same time, it's like, wait, these guys still launched. They launched knowing that the headwinds were here, and they didn't just say, well, that was it, guys. Sorry, we didn't make $1 bazillion. We're leaving now. Like, you're actually continuing to build. And I think that says a lot about the dedication. It says a lot about the team.
It's something that we said a lot, that we are here still building because this is literally what we love. I mean, you can understand that we pick this theme and not make animal PFPs because we are not in this for the quick money. We are in this partially for the money because we created a company to support this.
Right, of course.
And we have 15 people at least that they all need to pay bills and put food on the table. But we build this because our dream is that this could be our job for the rest of our lives until we retire.
And we can see on a cinema screen, right? Like the characters we created on a cinema screen, like that is our dream. So it's for us, it's as Brulo was saying, right? This is our artistic like endeavor. So for us, we're going to be here until we run out of money, right? it's like that.
And then we will reborn in some way if it needs.
Look for a way.
When you have the skills and you have the knowledge and you have the experience because you work in big companies, you work with teams, you have people that knows how to run business supporting you. You always have these pivots, these plans. You have plan A, B, and C, and if everything goes to hell, we still have advisors that are clearly telling us like market can go literally to zero, and you can still have a niche in which you can keep developing what you are doing now because you already have a product that it's there. You have the art to support it, the stories to support it, the game to support it. So it's literally a matter of navigating these ebbs and flows and keep building what we already have. That is
the universe is there, so there is no stopping. Like,
that's awesome. This way up says when penguin.
When penguin.
And Sam Wardell, what's up, Sam? How are you? He's got the penguin emojis kicking in.
Hi, Sam.
Spirit says, it's so cool to be a part of these emerging communities. I must get back to writing my graphic novel. Haha, love the penguin. Yeah, as you can tell, I kind of like the graphic novels, so I highly recommend you finish the graphic novel and then send me a link. I don't know,
Yeah.
I might like graphic novels. I don't know. This way up says, "Do it" meme. He wants to add the "do it."
I have something to show you.
Oh, let's do it.
I will probably
He's got the. I can see it's a picture.
Oh,
Yeah. It's actually a frame that my wife gave me.
amazing.
That is basically Shia saying, "Do it."
Is that your motivational picture?
Exactly. I have it hanging there along the postcards from the Akira collection that you have there.
I got
here in Spain.
the books over here. Yeah,
they came with some postcards or something like that, and I have those on the wall. And
I'm moving out. I'm moving out, so you can see my collection of board games there.
Nice. There you go. That's right. That's right.
That goes way higher.
That's right. Yeah, I've got my picture of Uncle Stan like right here.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah. It's here. This is the it's a prop from my days at Marvel, right?
Oh, amazing.
So like, everybody, so many people say, "Oh, is that your grandfather?" And I say,
I wish.
I say, yes, it is. Please tell his estate that I am here, and I would like to speak to them. They don't call back. I don't know. Oh man, let's see. We got this way up says, "I'm loving this conversation. Aligns with my thinking so much. Longer term thinking. Forget the flippers, and also crypto goes up and crypto goes ups. That's right. It does. It really does. And I
at
think
the end of the day, it does. Yeah.
You just have to put it out of your mind and keep working. I think this way was laughing at your picture there, Brulo. And he says, "Just realized the fringe connection. I was wondering why the conversation so aligns with my thinking."
Yeah, actually, we get to know each other through Andy from the Fringe. That it's, I mean, they are. I cannot find projects more aligned with our mindset than yours, the Fringe. And well, that's another team that, do your own research. Those guys made already a fucking movie. It's like,
that's what I'm saying, and right? Like, how can you not like? Why wouldn't you support that? Like, of course, like, if you're everyone's worried about getting rugged. They made a movie. Like
they have a workshop.
You have a game. Like it's working. You can play it. Like you can. It's
exactly.
Spirit Quest Production says, "Got to see Stan talk at London Comic Con. Pre-COVID, I went to New York State. Oh, NYCC a few times. 2112 cosplay coming soon at a con near you." Oh man!
All right, I want to see that.
Yeah, I had the chance to work with Stan. I worked at Marvel for a couple of years, and I was brought in to create an IP for them, an original IP for them, like an animated IP. And we got Stan to pitch it, and so we did it at New York Comic Con and San Diego. I think it was San Diego, and it was San Diego, and New York Comic Con's my home, dude. Last year was the only year I ever missed. I've been to every single New York Comic Con since it opened. So yeah, that's awesome. Stan was legit. He really was one of a kind. That guy is behind the scenes and in person. He's exactly like you would expect. Little sharp tongue though. People don't know. People always they see the Stanley on the screen, right? They see like, oh, the funny grandpa.
Yeah, funny.
But this is the same guy though that like in the 70s would come to an interview butt naked with like holding an issue of the Incredible Hulk covering his privates. So he would look at the comic, like, I mean, this guy Barnum and Bailey. Yeah. Oh yeah, man. Absolutely. He was something else. So question for you guys, like, so you guys have so much developed right now. What's next? Like what's coming next in the pipeline? What are you guys releasing next?
Oh man, I can drop a nuclear bomb right now.
Oh,
I can do like a mega bomb. So first of all, we are we are going to release the marketplace like very, very soon. We are now on the stages of testing it because it's almost entirely on chain. This marketplace is for using our data token, which is the one that you get inside of the game, to buy whitelist, all the different things that you might want to do on the NFT space. But also we want to start including things about our universe, right? Like maybe NFTs from 2112, maybe merchandising, start giving some real value to the data token in that regard. Next up, we have on June this month too, probably more for the latest of June or the beginning of July, a patch for the game, which will include new type of nodes. There's going to be more narrative nodes that will things will happen according to what you choose on this type of nodes. So you are going to be more immersed into the game, right? And after that, we are going to be full hands on the console gameplay patch, which is the biggest thing we are going to do ever in our project. Like we did the MVP so we could, show the people, as you were saying, right? Show the people that we are not a rag and we are delivering what we are promising. So we have this game. We will have this game live, and we will be doing some updates here and there for people to keep playing and earning the token. But we're going to take some more time, like a couple of months, for console gameplay, because for console gameplay we want to shift the entire combat system of our game into a card game. So it's going to be like a roguelike card game. That is the main thing. That is why console will take maybe a little more time that we expected before, because we just want to make a game that is really good, and the game we have right now, it's fun, but fun is not enough, right? We really need to make a game that can be attractive even outside Web3, right? Mm-hmm. So there could be options, for example, to people to play maybe on mobile, play for free and then be hooked, and go buy the NFT. So we are thinking a lot of things that will help the business, but also from the passion thing that we have on this project, we really want to make a roguelike card game, because for us it's, I think awesome. I dump all my playtime into these games, so I'm so excited about that.
Well, yeah,
it's what we wanted to do in the first place, right?
That's another point. Yeah, that's another point in which you can just check the track record of the team. Is like Windd was playing professionally, semi-professionally, different kinds of card games. Dave, that is working with us in game design, tokenomics design, was a professional poker player also. So we used to have a company of importing and selling board games. That's why we tested a fuck ton of board games in our lives. So when we seek to design something, we have a lot of background from which we can nurture ourselves. And just for a little bit of context, because some people seeing this may not be super aware of the details of our project, the consoles are an NFT that people that minted in our first mint, they have a mint pass for those consoles that will be redeemed when we release them in the game. And at that point, we will reopen the sale of that specific NFT that are the consoles for the remaining that we still have in the stock, let's say. But right now, consoles only can be bought as mint passes in secondary market, and the consoles will enable all these card mechanics that we are starting to think. So the idea is that the game will be absolutely unrecognizable from what it is right now. It will be a lot deeper in their mechanics. It will shift a lot from luck to skill. There's still be luck involved, of course, because that's part of the nice thing about card games, even. But the idea is that we are designing this and taking our time to design this, so we can really benefit the players that are trying to do this with actual skills and actually enjoying the game, and not just picking options around to see if they get more tokens in a casino. So yeah, and we are in the process also of onboarding people to the team specifically to redo all the interfaces and all the menus and all the new screens that these games will require, because of course you will need to be able to manage your deck, manage your hand, how that plays when it plays. So
yeah, that will be the real game. It's like if our game right now it's like B1, this is going to be like B10. It's going to be, because all the interface is going to be rehauled as well. Like this is why we need time, right? Because we want to do this and be like a full-fledged game, right?
Yeah.
And right now what we have, it's more like an MVP, because we kind of rushed it, right? And that's not bad, because we really wanted to start showing the people what are the things we can do, right? And they can earn their token, it's cool to have it. There is a patch coming, as I was saying, that will make it even more interesting. But console will be like an entire new game in that perspective.
Awesome. Spirit Quest says, hell yeah, woohoo!
People having consoles.
Jason
they are going to
says,
tell everyone, because this is not announced anywhere.
It's not announced. Okay, great.
Okay.
only between us. Jason Underwood says, will the cards be NFTs too?
No, before you say, you can leak whatever you want, but what I want to say is that now that YouTube teach us this beautiful program that you use to stream live in YouTube, the idea is that we want to make at least every 2 weeks something like this, but the two of us to share the advancements in the game design, in the mechanics that we are. So these kind of questions will be answered in each of those. But if you want to give some info now, you can also.
Yeah, well, I can say that they are going to be NFTs, but probably not in a one-to-one fashion, right? So the NFT will be like a container of some cards that will synergize between each other, right? So it will be even more interesting than having one NFT for one card. It will be like mini packs of cards. So
imagine
it's going to be cool.
Exactly. Having one NFT that can hold a number of cards, a range of number of cards maybe, and depending on how of those you equip on your console, you have more or less cards, more or less powerful, and that's part of the balancing of the game also. You won't be trading individual cards. That's not at least what we are thinking and designing around.
Awesome.
Right now.
This Way Up Travel says consoles. Hell yeah.
And, yes.
And the models, the actual models for the consoles NFTs, the final NFTs that
we are taking our time as well.
They are like.
This Way of Travel says, question for the team: any influence from other tabletop games like Shadowrun, classic, apart from Netrunner?
From Shadowrun, I think it's more like, for example, the game that we have right now looks a lot like the Shadowrun version of the video game, I think from the 80s, that it was like this grid, but it moved like not as fluid as ours. It's like frame by frame, and you go and
Yeah.
shoot your programs and things like that. But that's video game. From tabletop games, I don't know, Win, if you are taking some specific.
I'm thinking
Will probably have a lot of influence in this model.
Yeah, I think it's mostly video games. I think for the tabletop part, it's a lot of Netrunner. For the and for the other part, it's a lot of video games, right? Because this is going to be a roguelike card game, so everything like Slay the Spire. I'm now playing Inscription, and it's very, very cool. They have some innovative mechanics there. So I would say Grieflands is another good example of how to do narrative, in battles, make a battle in cards that makes sense narratively as well. So I would say, yeah, I don't have another tabletop that comes to mind right now. But something will come up. I'm sure there is more.
I mean, I saw the stack of games in the back. I have a feeling there are more.
I'm playing, every day. I mean, my girlfriend plays too, so we play every night. So
that's awesome. We'll talk about that in the green room, because for sure. Well, guys, this has been fantastic. Thank you guys so much. Where can people find you? Where's the best way they can get a hold of you guys and check out the project?
I would say the website, of course, 2112.run, as simple as that. But also on Discord, the Discord link is discord.gg, I think it is.
We are every day there.
2112run, and the thing is that you can join the Discord and say is any founder around? And I will probably be around if you are at some European time zone-ish. I will be around, and the community itself, these lovely people that we have in the chat right now, are usually also there to assist on any questions. So yeah,
that's awesome. This way up says more of these, please. Great conversation. Awesome. Glad you like it. Absolutely. Yeah, it helps when you have a fantastic team too, right?
Yeah, this is super fun, actually.
Everybody watching, go check it out. 2112.run. That's .run, like you're running away or towards something. 2112.run. Brulo, Windd, thank you guys so much. You guys are fantastic. Everybody, thank you for showing up. As you guys know, after this, we always hop over into Discord. If people show up, we'll play some games. We'll have an after party. If not, we'll just chill out. Either way, thank you for showing up. We will see you next time. And until then, just be good to each other. And we really appreciate your support, everybody, from our side, from the team side. It means a lot when you guys check out our projects and check out our conversations and everything. So thank you, everybody, for showing up. And